Good morning, everyone. It's almost Christmas. I know it's a lot going on in the world right now, and it doesn't feel like Christmas this year versus other years where we're partying and gathering more with friends. But it's still Christmas time, and it's still the birth of Christ, and the true meaning of Christmas is still here, no matter what's going on in our outer world, because the birth of Christ gives more meaning to this holiday and to this holiday season. It's a rebirth or transformation for us to know ourselves better, to love ourselves more, to have faith and know that we will get through all of this. So welcome to our time together here where love is felt, truth is taught, lives are transformed, and miracles happen. So how is everyone? Are we ready for this Christmas and prepared to do it different than we've ever done it before, but with the same love, peace, faith, and most of all, joy? So last week I talked a bit about and explained what the historical meaning of Advent was about: adventure, about a shift and a change, because it's the coming of Christ. A baby was born that we celebrate every year. Many people don't think about the biblical sense of this holiday nowadays, but that's why it's here today. But I want to talk about, because I didn't share, about the colors of Advent, and I'm a colorful person if anybody knows me. And at Unity in Bermuda, when we did services, and I think I spoke on it last week, we had the two purple, then a pink, and then a purple. So the first one's hope and faith, and we lit that candle. The next week was peace, and we lit the purple candle. Last week was love. It was pink, as you know. That's always, pink is associated with love, or red and stuff. And this week we light the candle for joy. Joy, 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 joy. No matter what's going on, let's think about joy. The candle, Advent candle meanings are different in many faiths, of course. Unity does the same color scheme as most Catholic churches, with the purple and the pink, as I've just said. And what's the meaning of purple? For many people, it stands for penitence and fasting, and it's traditionally done in preparation for the Christmas season. It's also, and I like this meaning of it, the color of royalty. You know, when you think of kings and queens, that's what we are, kings and queens, and we get to wear those royal robes all the time, not just as Christmas or any time, special times, but all the time we are royalty. And it's appropriate for celebrating the birth of a new king. And Christmas, as I said before, is a time of transformation, to remember what life and what everything is all about. And so you can lift yourself up to remind yourself that you are royalty. The same candle scheme a lot of times used at Easter time for many people, for the Lenten season. But the other one is the Protestant churches, and I always say, because you can choose whatever you want. I'm not into any rules here. Light a candle and feel the aura of it, and the feeling of looking through that flame and envisioning something different for yourself. And the Protestant churches, they often use blue candles instead of the purple all the time. And so you'll see in the internet for Advent, you'll see a lot of blue candles. And for the same thing, blue is royalty. And the understanding that is for the night sky, reminding people of the wise men who are guided by that big blue sky to find Jesus. Then in Eastern churches, red candles are used. So it's up to you. Light a candle, whatever works for you. And some people use a central white pillar candle in the midst of the Advent, the other ones, or they just light 4 white candles. Remember, it's the 4 Sundays before Christmas that are the Advent, that we light a candle for the Advent. So these candles celebrate For when you use white ones, they say the purity of Jesus and the joy felt on the day of his birth. So that's a little bit more history from what I shared with you last week. If you don't remember, turn the tape on to last week and listen to the beginning of what the historical meaning of Advent. But here's a little bit more history about the candles. And I love to light candles. I don't light them as often as I like to, but I like to light candles. And especially when we did services all the time, I love candle lit service. I always lit a candle before the service started, and it's a Christ light, I always said. So now that we got a little information and thought, and I've welcomed you here, let's open in prayer. So take a deep breath in. And center yourself in the joy of Christmas. I know at this time we call on God, for there is much pain and suffering and fear and anguish and a whole lot of negativity going on in our world. But we know through God we shall get through this, and we are always open to be lifted up in spirit, to bring joy in our lives through the source and through the presence of God within. So feel and open your heart and say, thank you, God, for the presence of God, for the joy that is in each of our hearts every moment, every breath, no matter what is going in our outside world. So take a moment and remember that, and allow that joy to resonate through you. Joy. And in the silence and in the thoughts of joy, we send healing prayers and light to those in need, blessing the doctors and nurses, caregivers, to all our family members, friends, co-workers, those we know, those we don't know, and all people around the world, as we collectively send healing light to heal our world and move from suffering and sadness to joy, to peace, to love, to hope, and most of all, to have faith as we move and transform through this season and always. As we breathe in during this prayer, we bring forth the joy of Christmas. The joy from Christmas past and the blessings that we receive from all of those. Bring those into our consciousness right now as we pray for our family members. Some we may have lost, some who are sick now. We bless them and we bring the joy of our memories of them into our hearts right now, and keep moving forward as we release and let go. And it's a journey, I know, but let's stop for a moment and remember the love and the joy we have for all our family members, and bring forth the Christ joy that is everlasting and always present. So let us enter this Christmas season as we continue to open to God in prayer with renewed sense of peace, of love, and above all joy. And let your inner light extend to all people around the world this Christmas time and always, as we renew and transform with faith, hope, peace, joy, and love. Amen. Amen. So we're going to share a song, and I shared it a couple of weeks ago. It's entitled More Than a Season, and it's a great song because Christmas and all of what we do during this time is more than just a season. We have to take these feelings that we have about Christmas, and yes, it's different this year, into every day and every season and every breath. So let's listen to this song entitled More Than a Season.
Look at the the night, it's Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Places to be, family to see, and all the things I rush around to buy. Slow down and find the wonder of a child, 'cause it's more than a season of giving gifts to those we love. It's about looking deeper for the peace that we dream of, like a baby in a manger with new eyes to see the world. Love is born in an instant. Isn't that what it's all for? Maybe this year I show that I care by giving that most precious gift of time. Where can I start? Can I open my heart to be with those that mean the world to me? Slow down and see all that Christmas can be. 'Cause it's more than a season of giving gifts to those we love. It's about looking deeper for the peace that we dream of, like a baby in a manger with new eyes to see the world. Love is born in an instant. Isn't that what it's all for? This Christmas, let's light a candle, hang grand a star on the tree, make gingerbread angels, be grateful for the life we lead. Let's take the time now to simply breathe, remembering what Christmas means. It's more than a season of giving gifts to those who love. It's about looking deeper for the peace that we dream of, like a baby in a manger with new eyes to see the world. Love is born in an instant. Isn't that what it's all for? 'Cause it's more than a season giving gifts to those we love. It's about looking deeper for the peace that we dream of. Isn't that what it's all for? Isn't that what love is for? It's Christmas. Ooh, that's what love is for. Isn't that what it's all for? Ooh, more than a season. More than a season. It's Christmas.
It's more than a season. And it's a beautiful, if you really listen to the words of that song, the true joy of Christmas. It's far more than just this season and just Christmas time. The true joy is the joy that we take forth and move forward every day and every moment of our lives. Joy for each of us is different and the same in a lot of senses. Well, most of us all like Christmas. We like food, we like things, and we bring joy in different ways. We find joy in sometimes very simple things and sometimes grandiose things. Like Christmas time, I find joy in lights. Anybody knows me, I like lights. So I bought some more lights today for my little Christmas trees because I love lights. and they bring me joy. And it's a simple thing that brings joy. Some people find it in big family gatherings and parties and with friends, with comedy shows, with children. And all of us like joy in all of those things, but some more than other times. And this Christmas, it's so different for many of us than any Christmas we've ever experienced. I know in Bermuda, you can only have 10 people at a time. And here in the United States, in Florida, it's even less. They don't want large congregations. And all over the world, and I saw that in England, they're thinking of going into a greater lockdown because of a new strain of the virus. So people are saying, well, we're missing out on Christmas. Actually, we're not. Let's make this Christmas one about the memories of joy, the memories of Christmas, the memories that we'll never lose. Yes, many of us have lost family members throughout this year, just some from the pandemic, some from heart attacks, whatever things. We have lost family members, friends, co-workers and stuff like that. But we can all go deep within ourselves and find the joy in the memories of those individuals. We all look for joy in the circumstances outside of us. That's why we say we like Christmas, because it's all those parties and all those things. But when we really think about what joy is, it's an inner thing. So let's look there today. And I love this verse. It's from Nehemiah 8:10, and I think it's great, especially during this pandemic and throughout this year. It's a great verse to read. And here's how it goes. Then he said to them, go your way, eat the fat and drink sweet wine, and send portions of them to those for whom nothing is prepared. For this day is holy to our Lord. And do not be grieved, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. I'm going to pull that verse apart a bit here. It's got a lot of meat to it. It's telling us in the Bible, and some people say, oh, I don't know, read the Bible, but it's got so much meat and fruit for thought for each of us. And this is for today's world today. It's not just because it was written 20 years. You can change these words around a little bit and it's still saying the same thing. Take time away. And it's saying to eat and fat and drink. Eat and drink and send portions of those to those who have nothing. Just because this Christmas we're not having a big party and everybody over, we can still prepare something. And if we have more than what and at our table, we can send it next door to our neighbor. We don't have to. We can put it out, knock on their door and put it outside. Here's a little something for you. We don't have to, if we don't have a lot on our plate, make whatever you have in your fridge. Eat it, share it, bless it, and allow it to multiply in your mind. And the joy of the gathering, of being with a loved one, whether it's just your child or just your husband or just the dog. Enjoy the season, because it's more than a season. So eat and be merry. Not just this Christmas, but always. Because this story was written not during Christmas time. This verse was written in Nehemiah 8:10. And then, for this day is holy to the Lord. Each day is holy. Do not be grieved. Yes, there is so much, as I said, pain and suffering going on out there in the world. But there are so many things to be thankful for. So do not be grieved all the time and sad, but go within yourself and remember. If you have to, remember Christmas last year. Because I said, oh man, I don't get to dress up and go to my Christmas party and all those things I love to do. But you know what? This is just one Christmas. Of the many Christmas memories that I have. Some people don't celebrate Christmas. They have Hanukkah, but whatever it is, remember something joyful. Remember that joyful time in your life and be with that. For the joy of the Lord is your strength. That is the key part of this verse. The joy of the Lord is your strength. That's that inner joy. When we look to God, we can bring forth joy, not the outer experiences of what Christmas was, but if we look to God and the true meaning of this season and take that meaning throughout each day of this year and the next year, that is the strength that will get us keep going forward. We've learned that God is the sum total of all our good and all our joy in the world. That one mind of God has a perpetual desire to pour forth more and more of himself, to give us more and more joy, and to bring it to manifestation in our lives. But we have to be open to that joy. My dog is bringing me joy. He needed to come close and know that I was here because he hears my voice. So welcome Midas Touch to this service today as he sits down and stares at me. So let's get back on focus. Joy, the true joy of Christmas. Whatever desires you have in your life and in your heart, they are manifested into your life by remembering God, remembering the true truth of joy in your life, to bring forth the fullness of God into your life that brings out the love and the perfect health and all that you desire that is good. And it brings forth that great power and great joy just from that remembering. Close your eyes right now, just for a moment, and think of one thing very quickly that you remember about Christmas last year or the year before. A good thing. And we're talking about joy here. I remember being over a good friend Sharon's house and she decorated it. It's so great. And she had tons of children there, and it was so festive and wonderful. I still have that joy. It hasn't left me just because it was last year and I didn't go this year. I still remember the joy of that time. I remember the joy of talking to my dad and spending time at Christmas time. And he says they're still going to put the tent outside, but they're going to do 10 at a time to come and eat. But he still gets to share his time with family. And I'm here in Florida, and I will be calling and FaceTiming and stuff to share my joy of God. God, joy and his love and his all the goodness of God is never without us. It's never away from us. God is everywhere present all the time. All love is God in manifestation. All wisdom is God. All life and health is God. All joy to the world, I can't sing, sorry, is God. All power is God. All good of whatever means is God. And when we truly believe it, we can bring it forth into our consciousness that expands into our lives, so that the simplest things this year, it may not be presents under the tree, but we have the gift of a family member or a dog. I said, take to the simplest thing. We may live by ourselves. We can light a candle and remember the good things in our life and count our blessings. For God is joy within us and through us. And when we crave things on the outer things, in reality we are craving more of God. Because I always think about the lady at my job who brought all these gifts to give to needy children in Bermuda that she kept in a closet because her children were very spoiled with gifts, and she was like, they're not having all these gifts, they're just going to sit in the toy box. So she packed them in the closet, and now she's giving them away. And that's what kids are like. They get all these gifts and they go to everybody's house. You have a present for me? You remember those days? And all they want is to open it up, and they lose interest in it right away. And it's the same with us. We want to go get something. We want to buy something for Christmas. We want all this. We think that's what's bringing us joy. But what happens after we get it? We put it on the shelf and we walk away, and sometime through the year we go, oh, right, that's right. I remember when I got this last Christmas. So this year and all years, remember the true meaning of Christmas, the true joy of Christmas. It is within you. That presence of God, that mind God, that divine within you is all that you desire. It's not the material things. The material things are great. I like shopping. I know that. But I also understand once I get it and I use it, I enjoy it. But it's not that constant joy that we get, that I get from knowing the presence of God in my life. So as Isaiah 24:14 says, they lift up their voices, they sing for joy, they shout from the west of the ministry of the Lord. That's what the joy of Christmas is about, lifting up your voices. Charles Fillmore in the Revealing Words says, joy means the happiness of God expressed through his perfect man, through us. Joy and gladness are strength-giving. Joy of the Lord is strength, especially in our mind. That's where we get to shift from what we see out there to what is really true about Christmas. When we shift our mind and our consciousness to understand that the joy of the Lord is your strength, and that's where your joy comes through. That's where your happiness comes through. That's where your love and your peace and your hope and your faith comes through. It's from the divine within you. James 1 verses 2-8 says, consider it all joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance, and let endurance have its perfect results, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. When you know the true joy of Christmas in this season, it's more than a season. You are lacking in nothing when you turn to God and consider it all joy. Even as we go through our trials and tribulations, all of it will bring us to a place of joy. Joy is that simple activity of flipping a light switch. We can turn off and on our joy. We can turn off our joy when we go listen to the news all the time and get depressed by what we hear all the time. Or we can turn the light on in that room and switch it to warm, wonderful memories, or do something that's joyful. I watched the Christmas baking show this week, and I never usually watch it. And man, was it so much fun watching them create things with ingredients they had never used before, and some of them fell and some of them didn't, but we've ended up turning it off because we were like, oh my God, I want cake now. Joy, simple things. Watch the show for 20 minutes and it brought much joy. Yes, it made us want sweets, but joy. Flip the switch to joy. Let your life be transformed with the light of truth. With positive prayers and thoughts, you can reverse all those negative thoughts and uplift yourself. Flip the switch to God and move into a true state of joy. Flip the switch to God and move through each day into a true state of joy. And keep that inner vision focused on divine love and all that within you that is God, because God's love transforms your life. As I said in the beginning, Christmas helps us to transform, but God's love that is everlasting, always present, never going away, transforms us. So consciously center your thoughts on the divine within you. Live in that kingdom of heaven of joy and love in your heart. See with divine eyes. Walk with divine grace. Radiate divine love. And when you do this each and every day and every moment we think of, you realize the deep joy of living in oneness with God. So count your blessings, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. So thank you for being here with me today with this talk. It was really meaningful for me to talk about joy in this, what's going on in our world. So let's take a moment and go into our meditation. And as I do go into meditation, I'm going to read the daily word that's called joy. And we affirm first, joy dawns in my grateful heart. Joy dawns in my grateful heart. So take a deep breath in and center yourself in the quiet of your soul. Breathing in and out. In and out. Joy to the world. The carol echoes a joyous message proclaiming the Messiah's birth. Today, we feel the same triumphant joy awakening in each and every one of us. Breathe. We may have endured a long and cumbersome journey on the way to discover the joy that is alive in each and every one of us. But the truth of who you are as a spiritual being brings forth joy. We may have spent years denying our spiritual identity, thinking that fulfillment, wholeness, and abundance were for others and not you. But as we breathe in and out, we now remember we have this Advent journey. We have rekindled our faith, felt the tranquility and comfort of peace, and received the soothing touch of deep and abiding love. So as we breathe in, we know that those gifts have led us to understand with deep gratitude that joy is ours to know, to feel, and to live always. Luke 2:10 says, "But the angel said to them, 'Do not be afraid, for see, I am bringing you good news of great joy for all people.'" As we take a moment, breathing in, remember the true meaning of Christmas joy is within you always. Slowly open your eyes as we come back to this place and this time. And the closing affirmation we'll say today is, I have God's joy in my heart this Christmas and always. Say together with me, I have God's joy in my heart this Christmas and always. Remember to join me on Christmas Eve. It's not a special time. I'll have the tape up probably about 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, and you listen to it anytime you want. Light a candle if you can. If you listen to it any other time or whatever you're doing, visualize a candle if you don't. But light a candle for Christmas and then understand the true meaning of Christmas. So join me for my candlelight Joy to the World service on Christmas Eve. So I close with our closing prayer. The light of God surround each and every one in. Let God's love enfold you and His power protect you, and open your heart to His presence to always be watching over you wherever you are. Remember, God is, and so it is. Amen. I behold the Christ in you always. Namaste. Continue to have happy holidays no matter what's going on. And tune in on Christmas Eve. Until next time, namaste. God bless.